Long time coming, I've been plotting me a set. Payday to the moon, we ain't never going back. Hopped onto the chain, pressure made us diamond hands. I don't need no princess, baby, I'm a king of the myth. Don't ask me about my pay, ain't too long before the payday. Shit coin reasons, I'm a meme on a Thursday. Pump it up, this ain't button on a Friday. Legions gated after this a season where we bullying. Shit it with no answers, telegram and moves our way. My house be chasing bags, they be running through a maze. I'm amazed, they might enter liquidity in a phase. I don't ever kill my house, I put their legends in a grave. Got my girl pregnant, put that baby on the blockchain. Told me listen clearly, you best hodl you that pay. Protect the garden like I'm Dende. Every night I see them child supported tricks and been my fame. Pay pays me every day. Rug boys, they really tried it, but payday's here to stay. To the moon, boy, payday pays me every day. You can cope, you can see it, payday really here to stay.
It's time for power.
Profesor Kupelweiser. Laureat tak zwanej Nagrody Nobla. Nie istnieje.
Co? Siostro, co tu się dzieje? Eksperyment się udał, tak? Jesteśmy bohaterami, tak? Zostałem oblany pianą, tak? To po co do cholery cała ta zabawa?
Hello, traders. Welcome to the Sunday evening stream, where this stream is always a little special because the weekly candle close occurs during it, at it, whatever, and we'll look at it. The weekly is fine. I mean, it's just kind of trying to stay above 28.8. I mean, that's a big level though, and unfortunately, get a lot of hate for this, I'm sure. But look at the price action. Despite what it is, look at the price action. It's, I mean, fundamentally, Bitcoin is at all-time highs, right? The hash rate's at all-time highs. I don't know what happened today with the whole all the transactions, all the congestion on the blockchain network today. But I know like kind of what happened, right? It was like there was so much demand for the process, the ledgering process, right? For confirmation that the amount of money that it cost in fees was higher than the subsidy, which the subsidy is like, when a block is completed, there's a six Bitcoin type of reward. So the fees were higher than that, which has only happened maybe one time ever in 2017 at the height of the mania. So just interesting. I don't know what that really means for Bitcoin. I don't know if anyone can even figure it out, but because you don't know if it's like bot driven, like someone's trying to wage war on crypto in that way or not. I don't know. So I can't really speculate on it much. But fundamentally with what the central banks printing all the money, and then the regional banks on the verge of collapse, unrealized losses, and just how about what is it, $500 billion in the past 6 weeks to 2 months has been wiped off the face of the planet. All that, you'd think Bitcoin is the key for, but it's not always going to translate into higher prices immediately. So then we look at the technicals, and then you just see an asset that has been on a really good run despite its fundamentals and like how good it is, which I think it's amazing, right? One of the best inventions ever made by humans. But even with that going on, the technicals are not really painting a great picture right now in terms of like an asset that is, doubled in value since the beginning of the year. It has run to the clear, undeniable resistance zone and then has failed to break it, and then, pivots, and then you rally here, and it's cool, right? I mean, still higher lows locally, but the inability from the buyers to push the price above 28.8, which we knew was always the level of levels, right? Still just struggling with that. It's almost like an up thrust back test of up thrust. So the technicals are just not very good for Bitcoin, and they're terrible for altcoins. They're absolutely terrible. And we can look at some of them today, because I've been looking more at the real markets lately because there's liquidity in them. They're actually doing stuff. A lot of these altcoins died because of the SEC's war on crypto in the past few months. We'll look. But like, just staring at this upsloping price contraction, very similar to the QQQ. It means like a drawdown could happen, and it sells off, and then it pivots, and then after drawing down, and then it's a higher low than 20K, and then you're fine, and it underperforms and all that. I'm just saying, right? If we got to be objective here and look at assets for what they are on the technicals, and if I was looking at any asset that existed on the planet and I didn't know the ticker, I'd look at this and be like, dang man, it's like kind of high risk for fresh longs. Even if it went higher, it's just not what you're supposed to do, right? The trader's supposed to buy low, preferably at inflection points, supports with confirmation, with bullish divergence, and you're on the opposite side of the fence here. I know, it's like no one wants to hear that. You flip the chart over, an asset that again got destroyed in a few months, 4 or 5 months, and then just got to the next big level, and is just unable to break it for so long, and you just wonder, like, could a rally ensue, right? A high to low 50% retrace. That's the target of a wedge. The 50%, that's 25,224. You hit that target, 618 is another target, 23,858. That's an actual support resistance of sorts, kind of going back to July of last year. So, I mean, if it was just to make, your traditional Fibonacci targets for a wedge, there would be no technical damage to the chart besides it's a little bit lower on price, but it's not taking out like major discernible lows. It could pivot at one of these levels and then rally and break 31K later. But don't get mad at me for just, I don't even know if it's devil's advocate. It's just the TA advocate here, okay? This is like up thrust, back test of up thrust. If you flipped it over, it could be maybe spring back test of spring behavior going on right now. In before moon, but I'm just saying, okay. And then we could, you know, look at it on the daily, the other chart where you got the, you know, it's got, you know, just screwing around. There's just the price contractions actually happening. You know, you are inside of diverging price action, right? And within it, you'd have lower highs and kind of higher lows. So it's just so neutral right now locally. But again, you scale out a little bit, you see the wedge. And then if you scale in between the contraction, you scale, you know, in between the wedge, you have like this pattern, which is either, you know, ascending broadening wedge or right angled ascending broadening formation. So it's just a consolidation structure. And just, you know, you're at resistance. You're not at support, and that's just the way it is, man. So when you're at resistance like this, that means there could be, if like the failure that's occurring, if it really is a failure, that means you could see significant downside, and it's lower risk for a short than it would be. And it would be, you know, like right at resistance, it's lower risk for shorts. And then at supports, it's lower risk for longs to, you know, articulate an argument for why you're going long or short. So that's just been the problem with Bitcoin, right? After that pump back in mid-March, here we are, May 7th, nothing's changed. That's the issue, right? The support was hit. There was a bullish hammer. It was the 2017 cycle top. I mean, that's a support. The sell-off occurred, and you didn't have much time, did you, before the bids came in right there. And now you're just churning along sideways forever. Okay, so we'll go to the weekly. And the weekly, whatever, man. The weekly is no big deal. You're just still in the middle of an impulse here. You're just right at 28.8. And you're still holding above the 236. So I think whether it's sooner or later, it doesn't matter to me. I think you'd probably eventually see 36K to 48K. Just, you know, you just can't, dude. Oh, falling wedge. Okay, maybe there's an argument, but it did reverse kind of not at a strategic level. But now you're rising wedge. But yet on the weekly, you can't even see the rising wedge really. So okay, so if you're nearing the apex of a wedge or something, then there's just resolution soon. Good news on the weekly is Bitcoin's still above 60, still above the bullish control zone, you know, that threshold. So that's good. But just saying, you haven't seen negative momentum on Bitcoin's weekly since August of 2022. Wow. Yeah, of course there are. Yes, look. Jay asks, like, are there examples of rising wedges breaking to the upside? Absolutely, man. Look, all these patterns that you can identify, whether they're falling wedges or they're rising wedges or ascending triangles, descending triangles, they have like, you know, hey man, we all know a falling wedge is like, yeah, inherently it's a bullish reversal, bullish continuation pattern. But that means like, okay, after all the research done, there's no like 80, 90% chance these things play out. Not even close, man. A lot of times a 65 to 75% chance of that upward breakout of a falling wedge. So that means if you're in bad market conditions, there's always that 30, 35% chance that it goes down. It breaks down. So that's the way it's always been. It's just a game of probabilities, and that's one thing, right? One variable is a pattern. So you got to add variables to your argument. You have no argument with just one pattern. You got to have tons of stuff like the divergence at inflection points, type 2, you know, confirmation lows, spring back tests, all the things you're looking for, you know, like regarding, you know, breaking above major moving averages, regarding with support, everything combined gives you your argument for a long, not just a pattern. So okay, so that's your weekly. There's really no big deal. Nothing's happened on the weekly. There's no problem. There's no bearish, you know, rising wedge type argument there. It's just hanging out at a 236 and hanging out at an unbelievably important inflection point. That's it. Okay. Bitcoin weekly. So you understand where I'm at. The short term definitely looks like if it goes down, you cannot be surprised at all. But if it breaks upward, you also understand, my God, dude, fundamentally, Bitcoin is the key to the whole future. Okay. Here's Ethereum unable to break above 1943, 2043, or whatever that zone of inflection. You're going to close the week below it unless something happens in the next 39 minutes, which it could. Still above the 23% retrace from the all-time high to the June low, June 2022 low. At resistance, right? You're at and you're testing resistance. You have not broken it. So whenever that's the case, I mean, anyone talking about TA here, it's even if it breaks, it's not a great area to go long on an asset. It doesn't matter what it is: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Google, Amazon, gold, US dollar, the euro. It doesn't. You're after a big run, doubling in value, whatever, since the low, and you're at a resistance. That's all you have to hear to know that it's higher risk for longs. So start a position there, okay, versus at a support. Okay, speaking of stuff like that, look, I mean, the pullback March 6th, you broke resistance, and then a formal bullish back test of what the old cycle top from 2018 was resistance. It became support before the rally ensued after. So that, support, not resistance. Okay. BNB on the daily, great uptrend, just kind of struggling here. I mean, really, it's kind of a little concerning, right? I mean, whenever this price action happens, it's kind of like, whoa, hold on, let's wait a sec, let's just look at this and observe what's happening. Because yes, of course, man, Ethereum, dude, Pepe coin, dude, that song that I started the stream with, that's an AI-generated Drake song of Pepe coin, all right? I got Chalen, I think I'm going to get him working on a Mitch Ray TA song, AI-generated by Drake. That'd be great. But yeah, right, you're at resistance. You cannot argue. You know it. There was a failed attempt to break it in mid-April, and then the buyers relented. You've fallen back below it, and now you're attempting to break it again. But, it looked like you were breaking into it. Engulfing candle. Really nice day on the 5th. And then, just yesterday, just gave it all back and fell back below that 1972, 2043 zone. So you might be at the lowest risk area ever for a short, actually. Right? If you flip the chart over, would you understand kind of what I mean? And I get it, right? It's like really one low, one high, the second high. Oh God, this is going for bad. This is the bad action magnet move. Really. I mean, even if you just go from this low to high, right? It's like X, A, B, C. This could be the C to D wave. If the market participants can push the price through this level, then you'd go for that high probability outcome where it's an 886 from that previous level. So an 886 would be like 3,284. But that's the bad action magnet move. You haven't broken it yet. But right now, all you're doing is failing to break it, and now you're back testing it when it was once resistance. It has become resistance again. That's it so far. So what would make everything all good again is if maybe we wake up tomorrow, in the coming days, and Ethereum has broken back above 2043. Then I'll feel a lot better. But for now, you don't want to be. This is not like really good price action if you want it to go higher. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so let's get more time. Let's see if we can break 2043. But for now, you have not broken out. You have failed to break out, and then you've confirmed you failed to break out so far. It's not over yet. All right. Old BNB, I don't know what's going on with them. They like halted withdrawals of Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like this is some insane price action at a resistance, right? I don't even know. Like you're still kind of making higher lows, but you understand how it could be the lowest risk area for a short just because it's resistance. Going short at resistances is always the best way to play shorts. Going long at supports is always the best way to play longs. So you're at it and you failed for countless times now. Win moon, win bids. I don't win enough bids to break 350. That's a great question, man. That's the key to the whole universe. Win bids and enough of them to break 350. Remember, we are in power hour. We have 34 minutes till your weekly and daily candle close. Thanks for being here on this Sunday. Because you could be anywhere. Sure, right? Most people are somewhere else. Okay, I guess we look at the weekly on this. I don't know. Yep, so this whole like rising three methods starting to get, I mean, it's not invalid yet, okay? Gotta move this because it's in the way, but I'm just starting to get a little like, okay, it should be going. Why is it not going? Why are we failing? Why do we keep failing? Why is there just this inability from buyers to break the resistance after all these tests? I don't know. If you can't break it, you're screwed. I mean, if you don't break this, the 225 target. It's a range, right? 225 to 350. If the buyers eventually completely relent here, 225 target, you break it, boom, probably going to 450. I mean, everything's been good. It's just when hits, man. Okay, dead market, no liquidity. And you want to look at the worst one of the four. God, dude, just kill me now. XRP, you want to look at it on the 60-minute. Look at your bottom left of your screen. This was like 16 days straight of just being a massive loser. There is no one trading XRP anymore. It's just done, dude. It's just, I mean, in terms of liquidity and market activity, it's done. Like, no one's trading. And it's even, if you can believe it, it's even worse for the lesser than S coins. Okay, these are higher market cap coins. These are your thoroughbreds for now. Bitcoin top left, and this is kind of scaled in more than the others, where we're just looking at that 28.8, 27.3 level. As you can see, how many multitude of times it's been regarded as support resistance, you know, going all the way back to March when we first saw it, the year 2023. How many failed attempts? It was resistance throughout March and early April, and then it started being regarded again as resistance in May. But then you broke it. Then you regarded it as support, and then rallied. But then, like, there was just not near enough demand to make a higher high. That's concerning too, man. Okay, and I get it, higher lows, but then lower highs. But then it's like you're at resistance, major resistance, just distribution going on very quietly for now, right? That's all that's happening. Is just lower highs. So that's just such a major area. I think buyers really need to defend that. If you want to short term see 30K again, I mean, just, you don't hold this. It's just gonna be probably a lot lower, man. Yeah, probably back down to 27.2. Just these markets are tough right now. I mean, not for the equity. For the equities market, I think it's not looking good. I think it's been not looking good, right? But then it's just it's getting really ominous now, okay? All these banks with these unrealized losses. The VIX collapsing, man. I mean, this is not going to end well. I don't think, anyway. VIX at 17, and these market conditions, just wonder, like, what, just look at this, dude. Okay, so this old level that, you know, in 2022 was always the bottom. It was always the top of the stock market, right? The equities, the index funds. This would bottom out. This was another bottom, and another bottom here. And these rallies have ensued off of them. But now what's happening is it was always support. It's now like resistance, flipping to resistance here. So I don't know, man. They've tamed it. They sedated the volatility. So it's keeping, you know, assets from really selling off, from algorithms and bots from deleveraging and going into trader mode versus investor mode. Soft landing. This is like probably the secret ingredient to the soft landing stuff they've been talking about. Where, like, if we're gonna go in a recession, we're going down lower. It's not gonna be like COVID. And you gotta wonder, hey, what happens if they ban short selling for these banks? Oh my God, dude, that was the right before the bottom fell out. in 2008 for these banks. So you better hope that never happens. Otherwise, I mean, that's just a sign of weakness, right? Oh, we're gonna ban short selling. Ban the people that are just trying to, make the right call here on how bad the banks made decisions. But just be paying attention to that, because that's been like making the rounds. It's not like it's actually gonna happen. It's just been talked about by people, and it's just been going around. So pay attention to if you hear that. Whoa, how bad that is. That's the canary dying in the coal mine if the ban happens. Okay, so we look at those big four. We could look at the S&P 500 futures. They're now open. Yeah, it's kind of started up a little bit. Still up a little bit, 0.09%. I'm not really sure that's anything. It's just... So if you look at this, S&P 500 futures, here it is. I still got the arrows there, right? It's just kind of signifying potential confirmation high. But it's potential, right? Because the support was broken. 4,058 we know is a level. 4,065 here. And buyers defended it with a bullish engulfing candle. Okay. Typical price action, And you're in between two levels here. So it's either 4,058 or 4,200. And to me, like, just because Friday happened the way it did and there was a short squeeze on the regional banks, it changes nothing. Like, the idea is you're still in a long-term bear trend until you start taking out those August highs, you start breaking 4,200, back testing it as support. You even make a higher high than February of this year's high. So you haven't done that either. So far, you're just confirming the same high. So and there's bearish divergence on the RSI. It's hard to trust this market, man. It just is. And this is why, treasury bonds have been so incentivizing, right? Who wants to take risks on this whacked out, stupid, illiquid, dumb market that is still in a long-term downtrend when you just know you could have guaranteed money? But what happens when, right, it's risk-free, as Raul Paul would say. It's virtually risk-free, but then you've got like this crazy psycho installed administration in the government, and like they're playing chicken with Congress on the debt ceiling, and the U.S. will be defaulting in 3 weeks if there's not some sort of resolution. Complete irresponsibility that it's even going on right now. So I just like, with what they're doing, I just wouldn't be surprised if they just let us default. And then everyone gets screwed. They're like, haha, good, like whatever. No accountability. The media wouldn't even say anything about it if they did that. There would just be a way, they would justify it somehow. Or blame it on someone else. So it's tough, weird times, man. Really weird times, bad times, and the bad times and the weird times are all because of actions chosen by people in leadership positions. Okay, so that's the S&P 500 futures, flat, still no higher highs. Same thing with Dow Jones. Same thing with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was a little bit better. NASDAQ at least had made its highest high since September. But it's still in the same category of, it's just rivaling that high from late January, early February. There still is extremely real bearish divergence here. It just hasn't played out yet. And you're still below that upthrust level, that 12,317, right? How many times would there's price action upthrusting through the initial ice line only to fail miserably shortly after. So you're still in that purgatory where the same outcome could happen. Hello, is this stream on? Audio good, hopefully. I haven't even asked. Default's not happening, dude. Look, man, again, yes, I agree. It's not happening. I think there's only a 10% chance it happens, which is insanely high. but compare, to what it could be, like 0%. But I'm just, if any administration in the history of the United States, right, presidents would let us default, it would be this one. Just saying. Everything they do is they're like actually destroying the country from within in every way. Every day they're coming out with something new. How do we destroy America's hegemony and world dominance? Let's do this or that. So again, it's a great, like, if I was them, I would do that. If I was going the route they were going, I would choose default. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. It's so improbable. But it's probably the most probable it's ever been because of who these people are. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. We'll look at the quad screen a little bit. Bitcoin's really trying to hold that 28.8, 24 minutes to go. The dragon on Ethereum is still valid. It's still active. I mean, I hope it rallies, man. I hope we get there. It's just, there's just a limited amount of liquidity out there, man. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just updating this chart. This is the NASDAQ futures, right? It's like, upsloping price contraction, like the Qs, whatever. But buyers are trying to defend by the looks of the pivot here. Maybe. The upside could take it to 14K. It would make perfect sense. But yeah, I just don't know. There's certain bearish divergence on the oscillators. An 88% retrace is very close. You haven't hit it yet, actually. So, wow, you were so 13,329 is the 88% retrace, or right around there. Let's see, 13,343. Yeah, that's the 886. So up 0.05% on the new week. Only been open for what, good couple hours now. So, and then yeah, the freaking Russell 2000's out of this world, isn't it? It's crazy. I'll tell you, dude. It really is absurd type of price action at this level where you just look at the whipsaw, like, oh yeah, the whole, it's holding, it rallies, it's trying again, oh, massive engulfing candle it's just insane, man. Like, think about what happened on Thursday. On Thursday, the Russell 2000 futures made its lowest close since October of 2022. You get like why someone might be a little concerned? And then, of course, the next fraudulent day, a massive engulfing candle to break the price back above all the support resistance you could imagine, and then you closed above it it's an engulfing candle. And now there's like maybe an argument for bullish divergence. It's just talk about tough markets, man. Tough markets. Could be a confirmation low out of key ice line, but it's like, where's the money gonna come from, dude? I don't know. I mean, like, again, like, seriously, it's almost like becoming a dragon. Here's your dragon pattern. It hasn't even broken out. It's very close. That's a nice supply line, though, isn't it? Gorgeous supply line. So maybe we'll leave that there. It's a dragon. Maybe you're putting in your second leg. Yeah, just, wow, dude. Kill me now. May of 2022. The price of the Russell 2000 futures was $1,760. It is now May 7th, 2023. The Russell 2000 futures, $1,760. Terrible, dude. Just worse than bear market. Sideways death markets like this, way worse than, like, it was actually kind of entertaining and interesting because, I mean, there was so much respect going on the way down. There was movement, right? Confirmation highs at 200-day simple moving averages, breaking supports, then bearish back test of the supports as resistance with confirmation highs there, to then rolling over later. Man, that was great. Awesome. And then it's just dead, flatline for an entire effing year. Where'd that year go? Still below the 200-day moving average. Pathetic. Okay, so that's kind of like your update for, you know, crypto, the big cryptos, the index funds. Here's gold. You know, had a bearish and golden candle on Friday, right? What? You're not stopping gold, dude. You're not gonna stop gold. Like, it doesn't matter wherever the sell off. It doesn't matter. Right? Central banks and China included. What is it, like 7 months in a row now? China's been acquiring more and more gold, and all the central banks in the world buying more gold. And there's a reason. They know what's coming. Definitely know what's coming. So, okay, cool. It pulled back some. No one cares. Still extremely elevated. Still rivaling all-time highs. That's how close you are. You are nothing burger away from an all-time high. It could happen this week. You're that close. One just owns physical golds, and they can look at it every day if they want. They can put it on a showcase. They can put it in their, you know, storage, in their vault, in their gun safe, whatever. All right, man. But yeah, it's like kind of like Bitcoin. It's not at a good strategic entry for a swing trade using traditional technical analysis to strategize entry, stop loss, take profits. It's not. It's terrible, actually. It's nearing like a low risk short area, but again, the fundamentals are so overbearing. How can one bet against gold with that going on? I would seldom ever even say that. So 886, right? Again, this is it. Like, you're at this reactionary area where if it was any other asset in the world, I'd be like, dude, this is where shorts would go short versus longs going long. You're just, right? But this could very well be Wyckoff reaccumulation. So, and yeah, if that's the case, then you are in the last phase of Wyckoff accumulation, right? This would be one of the schematics where it's, you know, it springs. And that was in phase C. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no technical argument for upside on gold on like the daily, but the monthly supersedes everything. And the monthly is like, oh yeah. I mean, remember last month, all-time highs, the highest candle close in human history. 6,000 years has been a store value. Last month was the one. How many people have lived and died over all those years of gold being a store value, and here you are existing, and you got to witness a fresh all-time high on gold on the candle close on the monthly. Wow. All right, just, okay, no real reaction yet at the pattern completion zone. It can go to 113. All right. Oops, wrong silver chart. What the heck? Silver still up there, elevated, unable to break 2618 last week, unable to break it in mid-April. That's the breakout point. That's a major inflection point after a big run. If you break it, you have a target of $29.80 to $30. Monthly sets you free here. Monthly, the translation of the monthly is one would just buy silver, literal buy silver, physical silver, and hold it for years. That's what the monthly is implying on the gold and silver, and kind of platinum too. Okay, just want to look at the metals, whatever, as their week has begun too, a couple hours ago. So we were discussing the issue with liquidity on S coins, right? Yeah, it's real sad, man. It is really sad what they've done. This has been the problem with this administration, man. They've killed altcoins. They've killed the altcoin market. There's no more, like, the on-ramps for liquidity to enter crypto, the crypto market. It's been legit castrated, okay? And it's only gonna get worse the longer this administration, this cabinet of tyrannical losers, the legit, I mean, you know, they know Bitcoin and crypto is an alternative to their scam system. So, of course, they'd wage war on it. You know, it's like the Gandhi saying, right? First they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. They're fighting us. They are fighting crypto as hard as they can right now, out of nowhere. And that's sad for the U.S. because that innovation is being welcomed many other places in the world. And so again, it's just another assault on U.S. dominance. Right? This administration's made it clear they're trying to destroy U.S. dominance in every way possible. Oh man, there goes Bitcoin falling below 28.8. Chat. Yeah, there was no argument for upside on Bitcoin. Not besides fundamentals and my fifis and romanticizing Bitcoin as the savior of the world. Yes, sure. Technically, terrible. Just all around, it can't be good because the run it's been on, it doubled in value from the bottom. And look, again, a mild pullback is not a big deal. People are going to lose their minds. Oh, Bitcoin goes to 25.3 just because it's time, right? It's failed to break resistance. It upthrusted, then it back tested the upthrust, and now and it rolls over to just hit common retrace levels. You know, Fibonacci, man. Traditional targets for a wedge. Shorts cover at these levels. A higher low gets put in, and then later we run. Like, what is wrong with that idea? I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea. Just trying to read some of this chat here. Is it worth reading, chat? I don't know. Not much conversation going on where it's worth repeating what you're saying. So I guess while we wait for that, real quick, let me, in the past couple of days, we've had a few new members that have, a few members have renewed their Citadel membership, which is the Citadel, that's the premium Discord service that supports this community and channel. So hype in the chat for AP. Thank you so much for the 4 months of support. Gaia, Tiger, thank you so much for the 4 months of support. And then Big Edo C, thank you so much for the 6 months of support. If it says you've been supporting TA with Nitre in Discord for 6 months, that means you have been here since the literal inception when they rolled out the ability to have a subscription service. So the 6 monthers, y'all the real ones. And and of course the Patreon. There are people that have been supporting that since like 2018. But I'm just saying, right? People are joining you get more notifications from Discord than Patreon on renewals and stuff. So I'm just saying, thank y'all for renewing. Okay. Oh. Let me try to do that, Brad. It should be good. Yeah, Brad, you're good now.
Thanks for the TA, brother. Folded hands.
What's up? I don't want to eat the bugs. Thank you for the 22, mate. Yeah, dude, it's all good, man. Whatever. All good. So, anyway, death to liquidity of altcoins, unfortunately, right? Well, what we can do is we can just take a moment to look at that, what it looks like. This is exactly what it looks like, okay? ICX is probably not as good of an example because it did have a crazy scam pump to go test inflection point from history, and then it reversed there after putting in a lower high, same high, and it's just bleeding out, and it will continue to bleed out. Issues on something like KNC. Okay, this is a trade setup I posted for Citadel members, Patreon, right? This has extreme downside potential. Okay, think about an asset that really didn't have an argument when it rallied to begin with, besides the divergence. It wasn't a strategic area. It was a lower low. It was pretty trash, and it had this crazy run, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 3 failed attempts to really do anything to break resistance. 90 cents was a very real level of inflection. And you can see the failures, the inability to break the 200 moving average, a big drawdown, and then, you know, some rallies have come in, but now, you know, in the past few months, just no more liquidity. These are daily candles, man. And so back below the 200-day moving average. In fact, when you fell back below the 200 moving average, you pretty much rallied to test it as resistance once more. And now you've broken a key ice line from history. So important, man. Look at this level. Do you see what happens below this level? It's a very thin order book. So the downside potential takes you to either 44 cents or maybe the lowest low of the entire bear trend, like 32 to 36 cents down there. So one high here, the second high, substantially lower high than the high before. So just business as usual, right? The trend is your friend. It is certainly a long-term downtrend, and they just the sellers showed their hand. There are far less of them than even from February of this year. So the downside potential, I mean, minimum, talking about 30%, but you could be going as low as 42 to 50% downside on KNC, and no one in the effing world would even care. That's what I'm saying, right? There's no intrinsic value in Kyber Network, dude. It's in a long-established downtrend. It's breaking supports. It's below the 200-day moving average. What hidden bearish divergence? What more is there even to need to understand that this could go a lot lower, and it wouldn't be weird? Okay. Good luck, Kyber. Kyber's the future, man. So I think there are other ones out there. Here's a perfect example. Tezos garbage asset, man. Okay, same type of behavior, almost the same chart, right? Pivoted, bullish divergence. Hey, it was a completed, M shape, bullish butterfly, a huge reaction, reversal, and then runs up to test old levels that were once resistance, became resistance again, a lower high than the previous highs. And then now lower highs even locally in the previous high from the buying climax in February. And now you're rolling over your below 200-day moving average. And here's your bad action magnet move. You think about what happens when those B points get broken, 96 cents. Well, easily at least 86 cents for a test. That's a pretty real inflection point from history. That level would be tested. I think you're going there, man. It's freaking Tezos, dude. XTZ, man. Garbage. So there's like 13+% downside minimum here. How about ENS? That was okay, and then it's terrible. It's broke support. Nope, no thanks. Nope. Bearish. Oh, look at this. I mean, what was once support was acting as support again. Now is resistance, not once but twice, and the 200-day moving average. Good. It's so bearish, man. Like, this is not bullish price action at all, ever. When you're below the 200, rejecting it, and perfect back test of support resistance as resistance, and now you're making your lowest low since January 2nd. You understand how bad that is when an asset at current time, before flush happens to Bitcoin or anything, is at its lows from the beginning of the year? The downside potential, it'll probably retest 740 eventually, June of last year. That's probably where you're headed, ENS. Oh, here's Bitcoin, 28,579. Nice. Not really, we don't like it, but it's just reality, man. We got 6 minutes till your daily close. Let's go to Bitcoin at its session lows. Yeah, back below 28.8 is not good, man. Daily, 4 hour, 3-day even, bad. Bad. Weekly, okay, up and down, all right, but still below resistance, so. But again, like, you haven't even, look, breaking 27.3, okay. For those just tuning in, because it is a 1 hour live stream so far, we've been live about that long. You have this, right? This is what's going on, okay? It's a bearish setup. A bearish setup where the target would be 25.2 and 23.858. That's it. That's as far as we go with it. Those are your targets. And how about the 3-day? Check out the 3 days bearish divergence and tell me if it doesn't strengthen the argument for downsides. At least some downside. Not we're going to zero.
DMTRUSDT, my dude. L.
What's up, friend child? Yeah, we'll look at that, certainly. Didn't think there were going to be any requests today, but thanks, dude. So again, man, it's not like... What's up, Exhibit? Yeah, it was up today, wasn't it? I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow, right? Thank you, dude. Yeah, so I think like the argument is strong for downside because you have a bearish edge at a key inflection point, and you have the pattern, right? The divergence, the up thrust, the back test of up thrust confirmed. That's the argument, and that's like if we flip the chart around, it would be the same argument for upside. You had all those things going on, so there's definitely an argument for downside on Bitcoin. Technically, not fundamentally. My God, it's the best thing ever. It's going to take over the world, man, eventually. But just today, we doubled in price in 5 months, 4 months, 3 months. So people like, the problem is everyone's so hyperbolic about things. Balaji, hey, 100K Bitcoin, $1 million bet, and then we're going to Richard Hart, we're going to 10K. Ooh, like everyone just got like complete hysteria. I have to do this because this is how I'm going to go viral. This is how people are going to hear my message. But yeah, and unfortunately, the non-hyperbole, just the normal, oh, okay, interesting, just a 50% 618 target, that would never go viral. No one would ever care about that. There's not enough to that, to make anyone give a crap. I mean, dude, 25-2, 23-858, if it plays out, okay, sure. And that's as far as we go with it. Bottomed will never return. There's so much, like, I don't know, sensationalism, dude. It's almost like, if you tuned into the Weather Channel, right? And the Weather Channel is just like, oh, climate change. Hey, we're the sea levels, we're gonna be screwed. And then all the other side's like, oh, no climate change. No, the weather's not gonna change any. We're going to zero. We're going to 0 degrees. We're going to 100 degrees. I mean, that's what really sells, in the social media world, is that type of rhetoric. So anyway, yeah, let's look at these requests. I was going to continue looking at the lesser than S coins to show you the liquidity problems and how bearish they have become suddenly over the past month. Let's see. Was it DMTR? I don't know. DMTR. Big ones. All right, real quick though, we have to do this. Speaking of the Weather Channel, your local on the 8th. Okay? Because the daily candle close occurs and the weekly candle close occurs in 1 minute and 35 seconds with an undeniable breakdown below 28.8 to close the day and the week, unfortunately. This is a 3-day. Yeah, I just don't... There's actually an edge for bears. And we've already talked about it. Miss Bearish Mitch. It's not about me being bearish per se. It's just the TA. It's just the levels, right? It's all... If you're in this community, you understand what gets reverence, and it's someone's ability to articulate an argument based on traditional technical analysis. That's stuff that's been researched for 100+ years. That's all it is. Whether you want to call it bullish, bearish, making calls, it's all it is, right? It's just the data. And you can take that at face value, however you want to take it. Oh, bullcrap, whatever. All right. A failed breakout, and then the up thrust, the breakout, the rising wedge, the bearish divergence, the daily and the 3-day, the lower high locally. It's all there, right? It's just the TA, man. And there's session lows, 28,445. No big deal. I just, no fun, that party times kind of meh. No party below 28.8. Sorry, you can't have pizza parties below 28.8. It's banned. All right, so it is confirmed. Weekly candle close is confirmed. The daily candle close is confirmed. Bitcoin closed below $28,800. The big inflection point. Amen. Type in the chat or something. Goes in the chat. Will we rise or will we fall? Seems like down next, then up later. But of course, I mean, anything can happen, man. That's what you got to understand. Anything's possible. And it was like, could this happen? Of course it could happen, man. But what's the data telling us? It's kind of like pull back and then rally late, way later, maybe, but it might be at 23.8, 5.8. All right, now let's look at Ethereum real quick because it's local on the 8s. Just to look at it. We can look at Bitcoin's weekly real quick here. Sorry, that shouldn't be visible on the weekly. Or should this wedge really? I mean, it's there. You can kind of see it. But yeah, so whoops, this would be log scale. Sorry, is that what I had in the log scale Bitcoin? Like that's pretty awesome, right? Weekly log scale Bitcoin breakout, back test, and then rally. But look, you're not above. You have not broken out yet. If you did, oh man, 40K probably. Just not yet. You can't say 40K till 30K is actually broken. You can't. We know that's the next inflection point above 30K, but I'm sorry, sir, madam. Bitcoin has appreciated in value 100% in a few months. So, and now you're at this resistance and you haven't broken it. So therefore, that could be the highest risk area ever to take a fresh long. Could be the lowest risk area ever to take a short. And not a short to go to 0 or even to 20K or 14K. I'm just talking about like a 50% drawdown from the low from March to the high. Minor stuff. Okay, and then Ethereum. Let's just look at it real quick. Another failed attempt, right? You broke out April 10th, but there was never a back test because it was completely invalidated. The breakout failed the next week. There's no follow through. So it wasn't a breakout at all. So at the weeks preceding that failed bullish breakout, you have now had 2 weeks of reconfirming what was once resistance is resistance again. That's all that's happening, right? So you are not broken out. You've just failed to break out. You just confirmed the level's resistance is resistance again. So therefore, could be maximum downside potential. Anytime that happens, even you flip the chart over, same thing, right? Where, oh God, it's a breakdown, right? We broke the level. No, you didn't. There was no follow through. You're right back above it. Now you're back testing it as support. There could be upside there if that really sustains, and you just don't know yet. But I'm just saying what's going on right now. Okay, cool. Still elevated, still awesome. Still probably gonna eventually see 2,400, 3,341 eventually. You just don't know when exactly. But we've been saying that for a while now. Ever since we started breaking the supply line of the channel and put in that second low here, we've been having this as the zone, the target zone, because it's traditional. It's traditional Fibonacci, 2,400 to 3,340. Okay. So maybe now we go to the request. Only like one request, 2 requests, DMTR. Fernchild wants it. Oh, been here before. Haven't done much here. All right, I mean, it broke a resistance support, back tested it twice, and had a big rally. I don't know what it hit really. It didn't really hit a resistance. Just kind of, and maybe an 88% retrace from the May 26th last year high to December low, 86, and then it's just pulling back now. Hasn't made a lower low yet. I don't think there's any actionable stuff going on. Maybe we could plot the swing low right here too. I think your zone, your inflection zone, where there's a lot of like congestion and buys and sells battling going on between these two levels. So I think as long as you stay above these levels, you'll be all right for more upside. But you got a little bit more downside to go test these levels. You're still above the 200-day moving average. It's nice. So there's still some more downside, and it would still remain healthy of the potential trend that is occurring. Maybe the higher highs, higher lows consecutively. I didn't mean to hit the space bar there. Sorry. Demetra. I think the histogram, is not really, done, or it's not like maturing hidden bullish divergence yet. Of course, whenever you pivot, as long as it's a higher low than 3.1 cents, it would probably start turning into hidden bullish divergence. Just, still so much negative Momo. So whatever, that's your zones, your target zones. Great, man. Demetra. Sweet. X. It pumped, man. It pumped. Oh my God. Well, I mean, yeah, it sure did. X with a really nice 12.58% green candle, a bullish engulfing candle. Looks like to be confirmed here. You're right. The level that you're below is being formally back tested as resistance. It did that a few days ago on the 4th.
Could you check out DollarSat? Looks like it closed above the 200-day.
Infinite Paradox. Thank you, dude. Yeah, sure. We'll look at VSAT. Thank you. So you're still below resistance support that you need to be above. Yeah, and all you're doing is back testing as resistance. So you get back above 7 cents, you're in good shape. Until then, you're just below a level you need to be above. That's it so far. But yeah, nice green candle today. Engulfing, you're still above the 200-day moving average. Did you hear what I said? All right, there are some assets out there in crypto that are above their 200-day moving average. We just leave 2 of them. But unfortunately, the highest high of majority of S coins have fallen back below their 200-day moving averages and are staying below them. So pay attention to the divergence, or just the difference in charts. So you're not like really great here. This is not a low risk long opportunity at all, because you're below the resistance you need to be above. In fact, you've only back tested the resistance as resistance again. You can't really be that excited. But yeah, have your alert set up above 6.87 cents. That's a kind of a breakout that could yield you back to 11 cents. The next big inflection point from 2021. Okay, the new week, some new price action maybe. Out the gate at least, nice. 60-minute though, so big nothing burgers so far. VSAT. ViaSat on the NASDAQ. 267,000 volume. So volume's pretty bad, right? You want to have 1 million volume just for the sake of liquidity and being able to get your limits filled, your limit orders filled whenever you want them. It is interesting, an interesting A chart. I would definitely declare that. All right, here are reasons why. Let's go to the weekly because we have to get all the data on the chart. This level is real, like 32 to 37. Look, this high from 2000. Yeah, you had that all-time high tech bubble crash, right? The top of it before it crashed. And then look at these levels, 2007, before the global financial crisis. And then look, eventually on the recovery, a back test of that zone, right? That high from 2000 became support not once, but then twice. confirmation low, look, getting above that 200-week moving average, staying above it, back testing it too, then getting above the 2007 high. That's a massive breakout, right? And then you went on this crazy nice run for a while. Actually, no, it was terrible between 2013 and 2019. And then it had the last high. And yeah, I mean, I get it though. You're down here on the weekly on Viasat, telecommunications equipment, and it's like one low on the weekly. It's a second low on the weekly. Some absolutely, can't say it was bullish divergence because it's higher lows, but interesting consolidation down here. And nice bullish engulfing candle last week, up 3.28% on Friday, like most things. And yeah, it's kind of an interesting chart. Definitely interesting because, you know, below $32 is a lot of pain, a lot lower prices. But as you can see, no matter what happens, anytime the seller is pushing the price anywhere near close enough to below that level, they always come back in to defend it. So if now they defended it twice and you start breaking above the inflection point, there could be a lot of upside on it. So it's just kind of, you know, trying to help you see like one low, whichever, whatever, okay. And then the second low here, gotta wonder, this is talking about low risk area, but here's the problem, you know, it's low risk area, but Jesus, dude, talking about 10 months of nothing, no dividend, just 10 months of sitting and waiting. But yeah, maybe this is the time, right? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, upside could be massive if they let it, if it's actually real. 52.41 target, I think, would be pretty good. April 2000 high. Similar to what it did in 2021. But, you know, there you go. It's an interesting chart on VSAT, okay? Did you just say bear trap on Bitcoin? I don't think anyone's getting trapped here, dude. Okay. The price barely moves every day, so that's not a trap. You're below $28,800. And until you get above it, we are at the highest risk area for a fresh long, right? When you're above 28.8, it could be, wow, if buyers could actually defend it one time, you know, for more than a couple hours, then it could be exceptional for way more upside, but it's just not happening yet. I hope it does, man. Again, people think like, oh, just because I'm seeing like some bearish variables after a 100% rally and all of a sudden like I hate Bitcoin. No, I love Bitcoin, man. Y'all gotta understand, fundamentally, I love Bitcoin. It's just because Bitcoin is going to save the world probably doesn't mean that it can't go down in price short term. What's up, Charizard?
INJ is May.
It's meh. All right, we'll look at it. That was one that went nuts, you know, kind of really insane. Let's see here. Yeah, that would be the next one anyway. Yep. It's still insane up there. Insanely elevated. But again, that's great. It's just, man, that's crazy, man. Wow, look at the daily on this thing. You know, it's put in the lower high, but it's still just so elevated. Up 1% on the new day, new week. Not at an inflection point. The inflection point's 522, 836, 1121, 270. So yeah, just consolidating. If it hasn't pivoted yet, I'm sorry. Like maybe you start rallying here, then we could maybe draw a trend line and you'd have price contraction, like a pennant or triangle, but it's still drawing down. So I don't see anything strategic about it. I mean, you put it, there's actual distribution confirmed on the daily on INJ, and again, the run was nice, and you're below 836, which is a real level. So you could end up at 522 in time. Okay. Moon Boys want a reason to go long again, dude. Have you Do you understand? Are you aware of what's happening to our whole entire society? Like this is the probably, I don't know, like in modern times, it's certainly the highest level of authoritarianism from so-called democratic officials in the West. It's never been like this. They use that COVID event as a full-on reason to take away rights. And who are they to think they can do that? They're doing it because everyone wants just to worry about their own lives and their families. So, and they know if they went up against that, their lives would be ruined. They wouldn't be able to live that normal life that all our, all these people in the military fought and died in wars for. They want to live that life. They don't want to have to fight like our grandfathers did, and even our parents. So we've been live over an hour. Little emo Eric asked what my favorite chart to use is: daily, weekly, 4 hour. All of them, dude. Right? You look at the weekly. If you were looking to long something, you'd look at the weekly first. And if there's a good weekly argument, right? There's bullish variables, you're at inflection points, divergence, and all that. Oh my God, that is super bullish. I want to go long now, but hold on. Then you go to the daily, and then you're also looking for bullish variables, right? What if there's like, daily hidden bullish divergence in the weekly? And you're like, oh, I like this a lot for continuation. Then you go to the daily, and on the daily, somehow there's classic bullish divergence at that same ice line. All of a sudden, you have multiple time scales that are significant that are implying the same thing. So the stars are aligning, right? That's two stars aligning. But then if you go to the 4 hour, and the 4 hours also at that time you're looking at the chart, also showing buying signals with divergence at the support and an engulfing candle and all that. That's your signal. That's like the buying signal, right? Daily can have a signal with the engulfing candle and stuff like that, hammers. So you're looking for all the time scales to align with bullish variables and inverse, right? Bearish, right? Bearish variables. You look for assets to be testing resistance with confirmation highs and showing, whatever. Bearish divergence on multiple time scales, whatever. And then that's like adding to the argument, right? Because that's all it is. It's not about the one variable, it's about the many. It's not about the one time scale, it is about the multiple. Join the Discord if you haven't. It's free to join. Okay, you get notified when I go live. There are educational resources in there. So if you're looking to get your feet wet on traditional technical analysis, well, we got you covered. And also, why not be connected to a community of like-minded individuals that all respect and honor traditional technical analysis? Great reasons to join. All right, so on the new week, immediate rally in 60 minutes.
You should charge for your live streams, Mitch. They're so valuable. Been here for years now and have learned so much.
So Charizard, again, I think the whole reason why this has been monetarily successful for us is because this stuff's not taught in college, right? And they charge insane amounts of money, and it's like, man, I think if you stumble upon this channel and you're not in a good spot or whatever, you don't have purpose or whatever, you should be able to find this. And because I graduated college And, you know, I had a sales gig. You know, I was very blessed. I'd met the right people who, you know, good old boy system. But like, man, I wanted to get like really well off in a really fast period of time. Like in terms of like, I don't want to be 65 and retire, you know, I wanted a faster route. So once I discovered this world, I mean, very shortly after, I fell in love with it. And it's just like, I mean, all this information I teach is out there, you know, for free. So I learned all this stuff online, and now I've just condensed it down into like, you know, digestible content. So again, if you want to support the channel, it should be voluntary. And that's the way the system was set up when we started it, and that's the way it always will be. So there's always going to be that free live stream almost every day, right? And if you want to support that because you like, hey man, he's doing it for free, so you will voluntarily join the Citadel or the Patreon, which people have done. And it's worked out. I'm sure I probably, you know, could make way more money if I did that. But it's like, dude, what about the people that have very little, you know, that can't afford the Patreon, the Citadel? You know, better karma. Feels good, you know. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so you just know the levels, man. 28.8's like everything. 28.8's the big one, and I don't like the lower high, but it hasn't put in a lower low yet. So it's just like, this is what I'm saying, like neutral currently. Like you just be like, okay, so it's like some sort of neutral structure, whichever anchor point of the wicks you choose, right? It's like higher lows, but lower highs. That is on a chart. When you have that, that is exactly what neutral means. Contraction. Neutral contraction. Well, consolidation, yes, it is a form of consolidation, but if you go more specifically, it's consolidation, but a form of contraction, right? Like you can have you can have all types of consolidation, right? Diverging, contraction, right? And then just different structures, momentum shift, accumulation, classic distribution. These are all forms of consolidation. And they all represent different things. Now they don't always play out, but they can definitely give you a good understanding of maybe what's happening, you know? Oh, thanks for Sean and JCR and Diga and I Am Ninja. Thank y'all for joining the Discord. Good to see y'all. What's up, Crypto Clan? Thanks for the tier 1. Yeah, the tier 1 membership. 6 months now of tier 1 membership in the Citadel. Well, you're not in the Citadel, but you're doing the premium Discord. Tier 1. Thank you, dude. Jesus challenge for
Show
that.
up daily and invest in yourself, and it's tough to not learn. What we do with that knowledge is a character test. Patience is the key. Thanks.
That's right, Andrew. Thank you for the 5 dudes. Yeah, man. That's true. If you show up, right? If you just show up and you listen, I think you'll learn stuff, right? Because that's the whole point of the stream, is it is education centric. Where if, you know, something exists there, I'm gonna try to go into the psychology of what's happening on a chart between buyers and sellers, not just, oh, it's this pattern. You notice how I word things? Talking about market participants being able to breach a level versus like personifying Bitcoin as some sort of entity, where if Bitcoin can break resistance, it's gonna move up. Like, I mean, that's not really it's really buyers and sellers at all times, and you put emphasis on that. You know, lower highs represent less market participants, higher lows represent more market participants, right? No, not a gamer. The premium Discord is called the Citadel for us. So it's the tier 3, you know. right? So you just like right here, you go to the server subscriptions up here on desktop. Don't ever do it on mobile. They'll charge you 30% more. It's stupid. So do this on your desktop. And then here, right, you have different tiers, and then the Citadel memberships where you get all the access to the premium Discord. So tier 1, tier 2 don't, but it's how you support the channel, and you get a free request or an included request, right? You get 2 for tier 2 and then 1 request for tier 1. Just like someone tipping $15, right? On stream, they could join this and also get a tip, or they could also get an analysis, tip on an analysis, whatever. So just showing you, since you asked, whatever. Okay, so I don't know. I've been live an hour and 20 minutes. Bitcoin's okay, and it's below 28.8, but it's not like there's no like follow through for sellers or buyers yet, man. No follow through at all. It's just chopping. It's sideways. It's the same effing price it was at March 20th, dude. Consolidating sideways. Paul Wallen. And yeah, you look at it a little scaled out, and you can see that there is upsloping price contraction like this. You failed to break resistance a couple times. It's not over. It's just, again, right? A rising wedge doesn't mean 100% chance, 90% chance of a breakdown. It doesn't mean that. It's marginal probability, increased probability of downside, not extreme high probability of increased downside. So, again, your breakout point's really 31K, and your support resistance 28.8 to 31K, and so you're below it right now. Until you get above it, it's not really great technically for fresh longs, but okay, could just blast through it, and that's fine too. And the fundamentals, we love Bitcoin. It's an amazing asset, greatest invention since the internet itself. And the internet, the computer, freaking automobile before that, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Yeah, May 11th, when the country truly does capitulate. Yeah, the United States collapses on May 11th. Yep, you'll have millions of people that will just walk across the border. And more stuff, the problems happening in Texas, that will exponentially get worse, okay? And nothing will be done about it because the people that have been installed in charge of this country are doing literally everything they can to absolutely destroy it. With every action they take, they are destroying our country at the fastest rate we've ever seen. It's almost like communist Chinese are within our government, and they're doing everything they want to destroy and weaken our country. It's like obvious. Like, what do you need them to do? You just need Brandon to be like, I love communist China. Well, I mean, he's taking money from them. So is that not good enough? Okay, anyway, so Bitcoin coming back up for the test, right? 28.7, 28.8. Probably gonna do that. I don't know. Hopefully it breaks it. And it's like double bottom on the 60-minute, man. Okay, so we believe in Bitcoin, right? We always will. It's incredible, but technically, it's not great. Just like a lot of things aren't great technically for longs right now, even if they're good companies, right? Like, a lot of things are good for downside. My God, did you see? I gotta talk about this because it could be a clip, but it was the tweet I posted. All right, my most recent tweet was about OZK. My God, this is a regional bank, chat. A regional bank with the most exposure to commercial real estate than any other regional bank that exists. Okay, do you understand? And the technicals on it are unbelievably good. Right, a textbook bear shark type 1, type 2 return. And now you've broken support resistance, and now you back tested resistance support as resistance. And there's just a ridiculous amount of downside on this asset. Just imagine, dude, like, imagine the downside, dude. COVID crash, easily gonna go to the COVID crash level. But you flip this chart over, and it's a dream, man. It's an actual dream. So this is like probably the death of Bank OZK. Shark pattern. Like it's done. The argument's there. Everything has matured, and it's time for the impulse down. It's like this could take it to zero, or whatever. If things get real bad, man, yeah. Below the 3-day 200 moving average. You below the weekly 200. Yep. Look at that. Look at this, man. Look how this is the 200 week moving average, and you are formally back testing the level as resistance, and you're also formally back testing the 200 week moving average as resistance, and you've been doing it. This is bad, man. Technically terrible. Look how there's weekly bearish divergence on the second high before collapse, man. Oh my God. Yeah, good luck. Good effing luck. And there are many regional banks out there that are gonna have arguments just like this. So I'm just pointing out this is the #1 exposed regional bank to commercial real estate anyway, so yeah. All right, so thanks for the likes, love, support, contributions, everything in between. Join the Discord if you haven't. We'll just be back another time. Maybe we'll get some resolution one day. One day, man. It's kind of tough with liquidity being so bad. All right. Till next time, respect the T. A.
Just take said 5 books out on it. All of them gonna be wrong. The one I'm doing. Yeah, I'm doing one now.